Hello everyone, my name is Nachiketa and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can use a large language model to do any kind of text classification. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a dataset of movie reviews which we want to classify as positive or negative. You can use any dataset you want, but in this example, I'm going to take this dataset and use a large language model from the Hugging Face library completely free of cost without any APIs and just use prompt engineering to create our text classifier. Prompt engineering is a technique where you can smartly create your prompts which can help your LLM to do your classification. If you use this correctly, you can save lots of money and time by not having to do any custom training or fine tuning. In most cases, prompt engineering is going to be enough for most classification tasks. The reason is the large language models that we work with are already trained on the entire internet or on very big data sets. So it is very likely the kind of problem that you are facing, the LLM model already has very good understanding of it. And all you need to do is some smart prompt engineering to build your desired classification model. So without any further ado, I'm going to straight away dive into the code and show you how you can build a text classifier. So with that, let's get started. So in the first few lines, I'm just loading some libraries for data cleaning, transformers library to import transformers from Hugging Face, and some other functions which I'll walk you through when we actually have to use it in the code. Now, first thing before running a cell, you can use Google Colab and change your runtime type to use a GPU, which I'm using over here. So this gives you access to free GPUs, which you can use for a limited time for your model inference tasks. So I would recommend you switch it to GPU before proceeding. So we first run this cell. The next step is to load our dataset. You can use any dataset you want in an Excel file, but right now we are going to be using the IMDb movie review dataset. So in this dataset, I'm going to be loading it first, and I'm going to be using a small dummy dataset of the first 100 rows in the test set. You can of course run it on the larger dataset, but just to show you the flow, I'm running it on a smaller dummy dataset. Over here, we create a pandas data frame, which will have two columns called as text and label. So the label over here is positive if the output for it was 1, and it is negative if the output for it was 0. So this is a pre-constructed data set of movie reviews and the correct labels. Our job is to train a classifier that can use the movie reviews and classify it by itself. And then we will use these labels as ground truth to measure the accuracy of our model. So I can run this cell like this, and when I print df.head, I can see this is how my dataset looks like. So you can see you have movie reviews on one line under the text column, and the label says if it is a negative or a positive movie review. Over here, we are creating a list called class labels. So right now we have only two labels, but if you're using a multi-class classification, even if you have multiple classes, you can just change that over here. So I run this. The next step is the most important part of prompt engineering, where we are designing our prompt. So in this prompt, we have to give instructions to our large language model on what we want it to do with the movie reviews. So over here, we are going to give it instructions that you are a helpful assistant that classifies movie reviews, and it has to choose one of the following categories from the class labels given above. We only want it to respond with one word, which is the correct category, and we give it some examples to learn from. When you give some examples in your prompt for the model to learn from, this is called few shot prompting. If I were to remove these examples, then this would become zero shot prompting because I'm not giving it any examples to learn from. So that is the difference between few shot, one shot, or zero shot. If I just give one example, that would be one shot prompting. So with this, I construct a prompt. So whenever I give it a movie review, it will look at these instructions, it will look at some example and then make a classification. So the example is the film had some stunning visuals and the label is positive, and then we have a negative review and the label was negative. For your particular task, make sure that you add good few shot examples so your model can learn from it. Now in this code over here, what we are doing, we are simply iterating through the few shot examples so we can give it a good structured format to learn from. To understand this code, I'll just give you an example. When we call this function with a movie review, this is what it returns. It gives it the instructions, it gives it some examples to learn from, and finally, we give it the review and the sentiment is blank. And this is what the large language model has to fill in. So this kind of task where you give it an input and the model is expected to complete it is called a decoder model. This is also similar to how your chat GPT works, where it takes your input and the job of the model is to complete the next line. So that is how decoder models work, and we are going to be using a decoder model for our classification. Now, once this prompt engineering is done, the next step is to load a model. Now, over here, I am specifying a model name. So again, you have to make sure to select the right kind of model, and I'll show you how you can do that. So your first step would be to go to Hugging Face and go to the model section to look at all the different kind of models which are open source for you to use. So in the task category, select text generation because we want to give it some instruction and expect the model to complete the output. So these are the different kind of text generation models which I can see, and you can sort it by the most liked models or the most downloaded models, and you'll be able to see the list changing over here. So if I select the most liked models, I can see all these models which I can select. So I'm, for example, using the Microsoft Phi 2 model. It has 2.7 billion parameters. Based on your task, you can choose smaller or larger models and just experiment with it. So once you have decided a model, the next few lines are basically something which you have to run. The first line is an auto tokenizer line. What this line does is it calls a correct tokenizer, so it can convert your input statement into tokens. So the tokenizer simply converts your input into tokens, which helps it map a particular word to the actual vocabulary dictionary that the large language model was trained on. So if the large language model was trained on 50,000 words, the tokenizer will show that, okay, this word in the input is word number 5 in your vocabulary dictionary, or this input is word number 10, and helps it map words to these indices. So the next step is to actually load the model, and we are specifying the model name, and we use the class auto model for causal LM. Causal LM is a particular class that you want to use. It refers to those kinds of language models which are trained for generative tasks. Causal basically means that it is only allowed to look at words in the past to predict a word in the future. So for our task, we want to use this class, specify the model name, and device map is equal to auto basically allows it to choose whichever device the current configuration has. If it has CPU or GPU, it will automatically select it. So once I run this line, I can see some logging over here which tells me that the tokenizer, the vocabulary, and everything is getting loaded. And once this model has been loaded, you can actually start inferencing and testing your classifier. Now, to actually run your model, we first create something called as a Hugging Face pipeline. In this pipeline, you can add a series of steps that get executed one after the other. And the argument says you have to specify if it is a text generation or text classification or any other kind of task. We give it the model and we give it the tokenizer. Over here, we specify a line to set verbosity error, which basically means that lines in the output which are not really critical, they will be just blocked and removed from the output to give you a cleaner look. The next step is to actually run the inference. So we first create an empty list of predictions which we will fill during training. Over here we start a timer to measure how long it takes to train. And then in a for loop we iterate over the dataset of the movie reviews. For each line, for each movie review, we first call the build prompt function to build a proper prompt with some few short examples. We call the pipe function over here. So the model gets us input the particular movie review. It gets max new tokens is equal to 5, which means it is only allowed to generate 5 tokens at max. This is to prevent your model from hallucinating. If it starts outputting long things, you want to cut it off. You select do sample is equal to false, which basically means that it will select the most likely token that the model thinks should be the next word, and we access the result in a particular column called as generated text. You simply have to understand that this is a kind of syntax. When you call the pipeline function, it will output the model's output in this generated text key. Over here, we're gathering the prediction and stripping it of any space or other characters and appending it back into the prediction list. We clock the final end time over here and print the inference time. I'm going to run it again just to show you how it looks like. So you can see this progress bar over here. So because we use the tqdm function, the model's for loop is illustrated in a progress bar where you can see how long it is taking. So it is pretty fast. If you run it on CPU, the same process is gonna be comparatively slower. So once this is done, we can see the inference time was 27 seconds. And now if you want to look at your prediction, we simply take the prediction list and append it to the CSV in a new column called as few short predictions. And if I print that over here, you can see how they look like. You can see a particular review, the actual ground truth, and the model's prediction. You can also see that some predictions were wrong. So now I'm going to show you how you can evaluate these errors, how you can minimize these errors and decide if you actually need to fine tune a model or just with better prompt engineering if you can fix these mistakes. So after you get the predictions, the next step is to evaluate your model accuracy. So I have written a function over here, and all this function does is it takes your label column and your prediction column over here, and it basically creates a clear list of the label and prediction and basically counts the number of times the prediction was same as the label and counts the accuracy. Over here, we are only selecting those labels in which the prediction was wrong, and over here we're selecting some random samples which our model got correct and just printing them so we can actually do some good analysis. So when I run this, I can see the model's accuracy was 93%, and I can see which predictions the model actually got wrong. So for example, I can see the particular review over here. It's a pretty long review, and I can study that and see why the true label was negative but the model predicted positive. Maybe it is the presence of words like loves hood movies which made the model think it was positive. So as a prompt engineer or as an AI engineer also, you need to analyze this and make sure that you try to understand the pattern where your model is getting it wrong. Then you can take the same example, if it is a tricky example, and add it to your few short examples over here at the top. So this makes sure that the model will give attention to those tricky examples to learn better and classify better. So that is something I'm not going to do. I'm going to leave it as an exercise, but your job is to study the examples you got wrong and modify your prompt to make sure the model is able to capture that pattern. That was all for this video. In the next video, I'm going to show you when this prompt engineering does not work, how you can use fine tuning to train more accurate classifiers on very complex tasks which prompt engineering is not working well for. If there's anything else you want to see in the video, do leave that in the comments because I read that regularly, and I'll see you again in the next video.